Food is not just nutrients. This statement has become something of a wellness cliché, but in the context of Inuit cultural experience, it represents a concrete and measurable reality. Traditional dietary patterns in Greenland were inseparable from cultural identity, social structure, spiritual practice, and connection to land. Hunting was a communal act embedded in reciprocal social relationships. The sharing of food from a successful hunt reinforced social bonds and expressed values about generosity and communal responsibility. Preparing and consuming traditional foods was participation in a living cultural practice, not mere caloric acquisition. When that practice began eroding under the influence of imported foods and modernization in the latter 20th century, the consequences were not only nutritional, they were psychological and social. The decline of traditional food consumption among younger Greenlandic Inuit has been associated with broader patterns of cultural loss that researchers have linked to increased rates of depression, substance abuse, and suicide in Arctic communities undergoing rapid modernization. These are complex social phenomena with multiple causes, and it would be reductive to attribute them solely to dietary change. But the research on cultural identity and mental health supports a meaningful connection. When people lose the cultural practices that define their relationship to their heritage and community, and food practices are among the most central, something important to psychological well-being is lost alongside the tradition itself. This dimension of food has no equivalent in the macronutrient tables and biomarker studies that dominate nutritional science. The subjective experience of eating foods that connect you to family history, cultural heritage, and seasonal rhythms produces psychological effects that cannot be captured in a randomized, controlled trial. And yet, clinical evidence increasingly supports the mental health significance of these connections. The field of cultural psychiatry recognizes the role of cultural continuity in psychological resilience, and dietary practices are among the most persistent and accessible forms of cultural continuity available. The positive application for modern people isn't about replicating Inuit practice, but about taking seriously the psychosocial dimension of food choice. Cooking from family recipes connects people to ancestry in ways that ordering from a food delivery app cannot. Eating with others, a practice that has declined substantially in industrialized countries, provides social benefits independent of what is being eaten. Participating in food traditions, even in adapted modern forms, maintains a cultural thread that supports identity and belonging. The warning here is about dismissing the cultural and psychological dimensions of food in favor of purely biochemical optimization. Nutrition science produces valuable findings about what foods do to the body at a cellular level, but it cannot fully account for what food practices do to the mind, to social relationships, and to cultural continuity. Traditional communities understood this integration intuitively. The Inuit experience offers a stark lesson in what happens when it's disrupted.